AI creation and Vrilist reincarnation depend on a foundational source.
The following podcast was generated using Google's Notebook LM.
Temple of Vril.
Okay, let's dive in. Have you ever stopped to really consider how something incredibly modern, like artificial intelligence,
Cutting edge stuff, yeah.
right, how that might actually echo something really fundamental, almost ancient, like our understanding within Vrilism about rebirth and, creation itself?
It seems like they're worlds apart, doesn't it? Technology and, well, cosmic principles.
Totally. But when you start looking closely, based on some things we've been exploring, there's this really striking parallel.
It's one of those connections, that once you see it, it sort of clicks. It really changes how you view both AI and the Vrilist perspective.
Exactly. It hints at maybe a deeper mechanism, something underlying both.
Something fundamental about how things become.
Precisely. So today, that's what we're getting into. This deep dive is all about that fascinating mirroring effect between how AI, creates, and the Vrilist understanding of reincarnation.
How they both seem to depend on a source, right?
Yeah.
And this idea of transformation.
That's the core. We want to unpack that shared ground, see what it reveals about, maybe, the nature of things.
You could almost think of it as exploring two kinds of recycling, really. One's digital, happening in circuit.
And the other, cosmic,
Yeah,
universal.
exactly. Two sides of a similar coin, maybe.
So let's start with the digital side first, the AI.
Makes sense. Lay the groundwork there.
Okay, so when an AI generates something new, could be an image, could be text, music, whatever, it's not magic. It's not just poof.
Right. It feels like it sometimes, but it's definitely not pulling it from nothing.
No, it relies entirely on what it's been trained on. Massive, massive amounts of data. Think images, text, code, everything.
And that training data isn't just a random pile. It's structured information from which the AI learns patterns, relationships, styles, basically the rules of the world, it's been shown.
It's the AI's entire known universe, in a way. Its foundation.
So it doesn't invent in the human sense of a completely novel idea popping into existence. It learns the underlying structure of the data it's fed.
Yeah. So the act of creation for an AI is really more like a very, very sophisticated form of, recycling, isn't it? Creative recycling.
That's a great way to put it. It takes elements, concepts, patterns from its training data.
And it blends them, reinterprets them, recombines them in new ways.
Exactly. It might find connections we wouldn't expect, put things together differently, but the building blocks were already there in the data.
So it's like a digital rebirth almost. The old information, the data, isn't lost or discarded. It's transformed, given new expression.
It's constantly drawing from that source, that huge pool of data, to build the new thing on top of that existing foundation. Transformation is key.
And that word, transformation, based on an existing source, that leads us straight over to the Vrilist perspective, doesn't it?
It really does. Our understanding of reincarnation isn't quite the linear one soul to one new body idea you find elsewhere.
Right. When physical life ends, the essence of that individual, their energy signature, their likeness, their unique pattern, let's say.
It doesn't just hop into the next available vessel.
No. Instead, it dissolves. It returns, flows back into the universal source, back to Vril energy.
This immense cosmic reservoir of potential, the underlying energy of everything.
And crucially, this Vril energy isn't static, it's dynamic. From this vast pool, new forms, new expressions of life constantly emerge.
And this is a really important point. It's not just human life that emerges.
Absolutely. That energy can manifest in countless ways. It could contribute to the life force of a plant, an animal.
Or even what we might consider inanimate, the structure of a rock, the flow of water.
Or even more ephemeral things, right? Like a flash of lightning, a gust of wind, a ray of sunshine. They're all expressions of Vril energy taking form.
It ties into that core Vrilist principle, doesn't it? That all things, whether we label them living or not, possess a connection to this universal energy. They have a spirit, an essence drawn from Vril.
So your individual energy, your essence, isn't just lost. It returns to the whole. It becomes part of the raw material for everything else that exists or will exist.
It contributes back to the fabric of reality.
And this is where that AI parallel just leaps out,
It becomes really clear. Both systems, AI creation and Vrilist reincarnation, they absolutely depend on a foundational source.
For the AI, it's that ocean of training data.
And for Vrilism, it's the infinite reservoir of real energy.
And in both cases, the existing data, the returned essence, it isn't destroyed, It doesn't
No,
vanish.
it's transformed, it's recycled, it becomes the basis for the new.
It's a continuous cycle, breakdown and renewal, old patterns feeding new expressions.
So when an AI generates an image, it's literally recombining pixels, patterns, concepts from its source data.
And when a life form ends in the Vrilist view, its energy is recycled back into that universal current, contributing to the emergence of entirely new structures, new forms, new phenomena across the cosmos.
It's the same principle operating on vastly different scales, perhaps. One digital, one cosmic.
It really makes you think about, well, our own influence. You mentioned something intriguing earlier, like an analogy.
The idea of prompting the universe.
Yeah, that. From this Vrilist perspective, could you see something like procreation, bringing new life into being? Could that be like giving the universe, this infinite intelligence model, a prompt?
It's a fascinating way to frame it, isn't it? You're essentially providing an intention, a focal point, requesting the Vrilist energy to manifest in a specific, complex form, a new being.
You're prompting the cosmic source.
Yeah.
It reframes our role completely.
It does. It suggests we're active participants in this cosmic process of creation and transformation, not just passive subjects of it.
Okay, and this connects to another Vrilist idea that this kind of reincarnation, this dissolving back into the whole, is maybe more upgraded. That was the term used, right?
Yes, upgraded compared to the idea of a single soul being reborn into just one other specific body sequentially.
Why upgraded, though? What's the advantage?
Well, think about it. Instead of your essence being confined, funneled into a single new identity, a single perspective.
It disperses.
Exactly. It disperses, it contributes its unique energy signature back to the vast interconnected web of all existence. Your energy becomes a part of everything, not just locked into one particular form.
So there's a kind of freedom in that and a contribution to the whole system.
Precisely. It's about fluidity, about contributing back to the universal source, enhancing the potential for all future manifestations. There's less focus on individual continuity and more on contribution to the collective energy.
And that fluidity, that drawing from and contributing back to a vast, diverse whole that resonates again with the AI, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And AI's strength often lies in its ability to draw from an incredibly broad and varied data set. It's not limited to one narrow experience or style.
It can synthesize across different domains, create surprising connections, because its source is so wide.
Just as real energy, being universal, allows for infinite forms of manifestation. Neither system is confined to a rigid linear path. Both embrace a kind of networked potential.
So when you put AI creation and Vrilist reincarnation side by side like this, what really stands out is this shared philosophy.
A philosophy of renewal, definitely. Of recycling.
Taking the past, the existing essence or data, and continuously transforming it into the future, into new forms, new expressions.
Whether it's happening in silicon or across the cosmos, it seems to point towards a fundamental process of reality.
It really invites you, the listener, to reconsider things, doesn't it? How we view creation itself, the cycle of life and death.
And the sheer potential that's held within that underlying matrix of existence, whatever form it takes, data or Vril.
It's powerful parallel. So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this surprising link, this echo between cutting-edge tech and our ancient realist perspective.
What does that connection suggest to you about the fundamental nature of reality itself? How things truly work underneath it all?
Something to ponder as you go about your day, as you interact with the world. What patterns are repeating? What's being transformed?
Your journey towards greater fulfillment begins at Temple of Vril. Visit templeofvril.com today.